Hello! Today I'm going to be giving you a more in-depth sewing tutorial. As you see before me, I have a lot of tools and scrap materials. You can find all of this stuff right here in the Accelerate Makerspace. I'm going to put all of this together to try to build a bag from scratch. It's going to have one zipper on it and going to be more like a fanny pack with a single strap attached to it. I even have some buckles over here. You can also find these in the Makerspace. I'm going to use these to attach the straps. Let's get right into it. So if this part is the section that's going to have the zipper on it, these are like long side panels, these are other side panels. I'm going to want to add some little, I guess almost like triangular pieces. Like if this were to be folded shut, and let's say this is what it ends up looking like in the end. Something like that, and then based on where I drew that, the zipper would be like here. If that were the zipper, what I would want is somewhere on the back, probably like little triangular kind of tab pieces, because that'll be what I'll attach the strap pieces to. Something like that, and then this is where the buckles would attach. Right on the back of that. Just in case you are new to sewing. So there's this little tab right here. You pull that, the lid lifts up. If you press it back down, it clicks itself back in place. You pull that, that lifts the lid. If you were to look at the lid, it actually shows you exactly how the bobbin needs to be loaded in. So we're gonna just follow that. You take your bobbin, and just like it showed on the lid, the thread is going to go down and then in front of the little metal loop and then right behind it, and then just cut it out to the side. So following that, put the bobbin in, go around, there's a little metal hook, go around the metal hook, and then once it's looped in there, just kind of give it some space, let it go off to the side. And you don't have to do this, but I like to take the excess thread and put it behind. There's these two little bumps right at the top of this lid. I like to put it in between those. I don't think that actually does anything, but yeah, because the thread can still kind of go off to the side. Or actually, maybe it can. Okay, but yeah, I like to put it right in between those loops. That keeps the bobbin in place. Now that the bobbin is in place, we need to take our spool of thread and load that all the way into the needle. So starting up here, you have one, which is this little metal hook up here. You put the needle, the thread between that. Two wants you to go around this little metal hook at the top. You go down the channel. 3 means down the channel. 4, you go around this bend. 5 is supposed to go around a metal hook. And if you don't see a metal hook there, there's a big knob on the back of the machine. If you rotate that, rotate it until the hook shows up. Once the hook is there, you just follow the arrow. You have to go around the right side to the left side of that hook. And then 6 is straight down the channel, and there's another hook down here. You're gonna loop the thread behind that. And there is nothing after 6. Now you just need to put the thread into the needle. Sometimes the machines have a little piece attached to it that makes this process a little easier. They'll have a little thing you can pull down, which is this thing on the side. It actually loops the thread, and if you push it, there's a little pin on it. As you can see, it should stay in place once you do that. You pull both of those, pull it backwards, and that pulls it all the way through. Alternatively, what you could do is just, if you're having trouble using the little like guide it has, you could just get real close and just eyeball it, which is the way I do it sometimes. On some of these machines, that little pin doesn't work as well. could just eyeball it. And then with a steady hand, you can also get it through the needle that way. A little bit of pressure adds a little bit of speed. And then adding more pressure makes more speed. There's a little knob here that I can press to make the machine go reverse. I like to use a little reverse knob just to make sure it fully stitches an end closed. Now you can see, I pull this material to the side, loop it up here to cut it. I like to give the thread a little room just so it doesn't accidentally get pulled back up. And now I've got a stitch going right across the top of this piece here. And if I were to, I could take the pin out now. If I were to flip that over and flip it inside out, this is what the bag, you could start to see what the bag is going to look like. I've got my seam right there, and that's how you'll notice on even the clothes you're wearing right now, that's how you end up with a seam that looks like that. Just a nice crease. You don't really see a lot of the stitches going through there. You do at the beginning, but that's just because that's where I first started. I could just go back over that and make that stitching section tighter. But for this, I think this is fine. So I'm gonna go now and do the same thing all the way around the entire box. And normally you would want to leave a hole to flip it inside out, but because I'm going to end up cutting one big hole in this to put a zipper somewhere, I don't think it actually matters if I just kind of close the whole thing and then open it up later once I need to add that hole. So I'm gonna go through and sew the rest of those pieces. All right, now that I've got my little fabric box and I have this little hole cut in it, I can flip it inside out, and you can see that all my seams are looking nice because I sewed all of them on the inside or inside out. There we go. Got a nice little pouch shape now. This worked out a lot better than I thought it would. It's got more of a round shape to it than an actual kind of rectangular prism. The zipper is going to go right on top right here. As you remember earlier, I have no idea how to attach a zipper to something, so I'm just gonna figure it out. I think it goes on the inside. I think I'm supposed to sew the edges of it to the inside so that way just this part is exposed, because I think it would make more sense that way. So I think I have to flip it upside down, place it this way, and then sew each edge when it's inside out, so that way the zipper will be exposed when it's this way. I think that's how it's done. I'm just gonna try it, and we're both gonna find it. We're all gonna find out if that works. All right, well, as you can see, I somehow managed to get a zipper on there. It's not the prettiest seams here, but it gets the job done. I can trim off some of the extra there. Yeah, and I managed to not accidentally sew right over the zipper, so that's cool. And as you can see, I can open this up. I've got a little pouch now. All that's left is to add some little parts to the side so that way I can attach some buckles to it. And then we'll be done. This whole top part is connected. I don't need to sew this because it'll already be combined. And then I just need to sew the outer edge of each of them, just like I did with the pouch. I didn't cut a bunch of panels, I just cut the sections that I needed to, and I left parts connected where they didn't need to be fully separated. And that'll be good because if this is a bag, it'll make it less likely to spill stuff whenever I put stuff in it. So let's go and make a 10-inch by 7-inch, two 10-inch by 7-inch rectangles, and then I'll just fold them in half and then cut like a 45-degree or whatever angle this is to leave this section of the strap exposed. All right, let's do it. Alright, so midway through cutting these panels, I actually just realized that this is really similar to a bag I already have, where right above where the straps connect, this is just going to be like open. This will be completely closed, but it's a pouch. So what I actually am going to do is I'm going to just put some Velcro right on the inside of this section, right before the strap gets attached. So I'll have a hidden pocket right there. Alright, well, that finishes up my in-depth sewing tutorial. As you can see, I managed to sew on two little clips here for the bag. If I switch that around, I've got a little zipper attached to it. I can put stuff in there, and as a little added bonus, each of the straps on the side has a hidden Velcro pocket right in the top of it. So right there, this little triangle section, that's a pocket. Right over here on the other side, also a pocket. You can swivel it right to the back. And I remembered that I actually was working on an embroidery project. We also have tools here for embroidery. So I think since it already has the canvas look, I'm just going to finish the embroidery I was doing and then sew it right on the top of the bag to give it some little design, since it feels kind of plain right now. I think total that took me about 2 hours. So if you ever have like a nice long free day or even a couple free moments, you can pop right into the makerspace, use all this sewing equipment, and make something awesome like this. All right, thanks.